Welcome back, everyone. It's the Bourbon Judge. Hey, last Sunday, we kicked it off with Woodinville. So I was like, you know what? Let's go ahead and bring back another craft distillery, right? Let's start to show some love to some craft distilleries that are out there. There's a lot of distilleries all across the U.S. making some fantastic bourbon. And I know it is a foreign concept to think that bourbon can be made outside the state of Kentucky. It does happen, as I always joke around. It does happen. And today we're going to go ahead and check out Frey Ranch Bourbon. First and foremost, gosh, look at that bottle. That bottle is pretty damn cool. I mean, even look at the cap. Listen to the, hold on, take that off. Listen how, hear that metal? This is like, I mean, when you think about a man's man, this is a man's man, right? Cap, look at that. Frey Ranch Distillery. So first and foremost, I need to give a quick shout out to, well, a lot of people have asked me, say, Bourbon Judge, have you ever tried Frey Ranch? And honestly, I never have tried it because I honestly haven't seen it around me on the East Coast. And we'll get into that a little bit, the reason why. But I think someone who watches the channel, a guy by the name of Ron was like, Bourbon Judge, check it out. I guarantee you'll love it. And I'm like, all right, Ron, that's a lot to live up to. We'll see. But hey, so I reached out to Frey Ranch because, to Ron's point, I couldn't find it. I was like, where is this? I mean, I'm driving all around. I'm going to Maryland. I'm going to D.C., to Jersey. I should have just looked online. So that's maybe part of the challenge. Frey Ranch, you can actually only find their bourbon either in Nevada, which is where they're based, either Nevada or also in California. Now here's the kicker. You can get their small batch, this bottle here, online, right? And then you can actually go right to FreyRanchDistillery.com, or to their distillery rather, or their website rather. You can actually buy this bottle online directly from them, and they'll ship it to you, which is awesome. So that by itself is pretty cool. But anyway, so I decided to reach out because I really wanted to have somebody from the Frey Ranch Distillery on the channel. I wanted to kind of interview because I love doing that. And unfortunately, you know, they were really busy. But huge shout out to Mike from the marketing team. Mike's a super great guy. I shot him an email. He got right back to me. He said, "Hey, Bourbon Judge, you know, Colby and his wife and the rest of the team, they're farmers, so they're busy right now. We can't do an interview now, but we'll send you a bottle." So much appreciated. Thank you, Mike from the marketing team. I appreciate you sending me a bottle for, again, a very honest, true review. And with that, let's go ahead and dive into it. Alright folks, so when you think of Frey Ranch, what comes to mind? First and foremost, as I mentioned earlier, so they are a craft distillery. And what I mean by that is that, actually, technically, they're farmers. So Colby and his wife Ashley, Colby Frey, this land has been in his family for over 165 years. Yes, I said it right, 165 years. He is a fifth generation farmer. And what's really cool about it is that he's actually turned the land, obviously, of course, into farming, but he's now using the all of their grains to make bourbon. Colby, I love that. Nice job, by the way. That's a good thing. And the cool thing about them is that they are one of the few distilleries that literally grow all of their grain on site at their property. So they grow the grain, they distill it, they age it, and they bottle it. All at Frey Ranch, folks. There's not a lot of people out there in the bourbon world that can say that they do that. We all know that. I'm gonna go ahead and pour this bad boy. As you'll notice, I did pour a little bit in my infinity bottle. I do that with every new bottle of bourbon that I open. Want to have a chance to let this bad boy open up a little bit and air out. So again, back to Frey Ranch. Their mash bill. So they have a 4-grain mash bill. So again, they grow all of their corn, their wheat, their rye, and their malted barley, all on property. And the mash bill, I should say, is primarily, of course, you know, it's a high corn mash bill, but primarily 67% corn, 12% malted barley, 11% rye, and 10% wheat. So for this bad boy here, a 4-grain mash bill, which is really cool. And my guess is this is really going to kind of change the complex of the bourbon as we get into the nose. What else do we know about Frey Ranch? So this bad boy here, the small batch, comes in at $50. So 50 this way. There we go. 50 comes in at $50. And from a proof standpoint, let's take a look at the bottle here real quick. All right, so this one's coming in at a nice and even 90 proof. There we go. 90 proof right there on the side of the bottle. From an age standpoint, for the most part, it's about roughly 5 years. Again, because they are a newer distillery, they are aging their stuff at that 5-year mark. I'm sure, again, very probably similar to Woodinville. As time goes on, they probably will have maybe higher age statements, but for now, it's about that 5.5 year mark. And again, this is a small batch. They also do make a rye and a barrel proof. Here's the kicker. As I said, you can find this one online right at their website, and I'll put the website up above. But all three products, you can find the small batch, the rye, and their barrel proof. Unfortunately, you can find those other two versions, the rye and the barrel proof, at select stores and retailers in the state of Nevada, as well as in the state of California. You know, they're probably going to be expanding, and I totally get it, right? When you start out, it takes a while to kind of expand your network, but I'm sure they will have a chance to expand. Take a look at their website, folks. I mean, they're doing some really cool stuff. You can go directly to the website. You can actually visit the distillery as well, because they are located in a very small town called Fallon, Nevada. Think of Jimmy Fallon, but Fallon, Nevada, about an hour outside of Reno. So think of Reno, and you'll find Frey Ranch. All right, enough talking. Let's get into this bourbon because it looks great. So from a color standpoint, very nice. This is actually much darker. Wow, I poured a deep pour. Let me not spill that like the last episode. Let me get my swirling down here. This is actually dark. Wow, this is actually not bad. It's actually just like my table. That's like an extremely deep brown. Very nice. I like that. Very nice. Like a super dark walnut. I like it. All right, not bad. Let's get into the nose here, folks. So I will tell you, for a 4-grain product, the nose is definitely different than your traditional bourbon. You know, your traditional bourbons, you always get like a ton of caramel, butterscotch, some maple syrup, a lot of oak. This is, you still get a lot of those elements, right? You get a ton of caramel, but what's different is in the nose you get a lot of like vanilla, a lot of honey, a ton of honey. Wow, very fruit forward also. Tons of like apples, pears. Apples, pears, a little bit of spice, a little bit from that rye. Maybe even a hint of like cinnamon, right? So it's still telling you, hey, I'm a 4-grain, but even with being a 4-grain, I still am a bourbon at the end of the day. This is nice, actually. That nose is so different. Wow. The nose is like powerful too for a 90 proof, right? Yeah. For a 90 proof, the nose is pretty damn powerful also. I mean, it's like, it's truly a great combination of like your caramel, vanilla, tons of honey, tons of apples, tons of pears, very citrusy. Maybe a little bit of like orange in there as well. Oh my gosh, some oak, some pepper. This is really, really nice. So, folks, I say this each and every week. Peace, cheers, salute. I appreciate everyone out there watching the channel. For all my patrons, thank you again for all your support. And for everyone else who watches the channel, for all the subscribers, I do appreciate all the love. I love the commentary. Please do me 3 favors, just 3. Number 1, hit the like button. Number 2, drop me a comment. I love going back and forth. There is nothing more than I love than going back and forth via comments with everyone. Even occasionally people even shoot me an email. I love that as well. And then number 3, please make sure you hit the subscribe button, folks. Hey, again, each and every week, peace, cheers, salute. I appreciate everyone out there. Thank you guys and gals. Wow. That's different. Look at those legs coming down. Damn. All right. Let me get a little bit more. I poured a deep pour. Might be time for a cigar. All right. So, a couple things. Wow. As a 90 proof bourbon, that sips slightly actually higher. The palate is, if it sips and the palate goes down a little bit higher, slightly a little bit more of a higher, longer finish than I would have expected. I would have expected this to be like 95, 97 proof, maybe even close to that 100 proof. But that's good because you guys all know I love a high proof bourbon. But again, that's only 90 proof. First and foremost, everything from the nose transferred to the palate. Tons of honey. The caramel's still there. Tons of honey. This also has, as I mentioned, all of like those citrus notes, like the apples, the pears, the oranges. All of that transfers rather from the nose to the palate. The pepper, the finish is nice and long, slowly goes away. But for a 90 proof bourbon, that finish is very long and steady, much longer than most 90 proof bourbons out there. I still kind of feel it just kind of hanging out in my mouth. That is quite different. I will say, Kobe and his wife Ashley, they have a little saying that says, if you're good to the land will be good to you. Folks, you guys know me. I keep an honest review no matter what, right? Because I could buy a bottle if I really wanted to, but I was giving this to kind of review on the channel. I will always keep it real here in the courtroom. Folks, this is a buy. The land is being very good to Kobe and Ashley. Folks, this is damn good, honestly. For a $50 bottle, 90 proof, it just goes to show there is so much fantastic bourbon that's out there on the market that most of us don't know. A lot of times we always just think to ourselves, I gotta get a Kentucky bourbon. There's only Kentucky bourbon that's made. That's really not true. This is fantastic. I highly encourage you, if you live locally in that area, in Nevada or California, grab a bottle. If not, at least try this small batch. This is pretty damn good. I'm actually going to go ahead outside and smoke a cigar because it's been a long week, and nothing says the end of a long week like a great cigar paired with a damn good bourbon. Hey, peace, cheers, salute. I appreciate each and every one of you out there. Later. Whew. I need to find the barrel proof now.